This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. We're going to go over the New York Open. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about NVDA, poised for just about a break-even open on NVIDIA. We're going to talk about Tesla, which is up and out. Looks like it's trying to push up and out of a bit of a level of resistance on this market open. And as we look at it, guys, we are alive. In terms of this stream, just remember, this is not intended to trade live, especially on equities. We're just going to tell you guys it's fast action. If you're not used to trading, if you haven't developed your trade game, just be especially prepared to work on it for a while. The stream is delayed 8 to 10 seconds, so it's not intended for live trading. All right, it's just not. So to the extent that you would be looking for financial advice other than just technical know-how, that's what we pride ourselves on here. This is London, former hedge fund owner, private non-SEC, not financial advice. Taking a look at Tesla, it paid up and over on that breakout. Let's take a look at what it provided, a 0.5% knock on the door to the upside. We're seeing a lateral catch here to the left. Now, you know how I like to trade. Well, guys, let's leave this alone just a moment. Appreciate in the first minute we had a trade on Tesla. True? You got it. Exactly the type of action that I like to see in terms of Tesla. Now, NVIDIA following suit and maybe just a bit more interesting for NVIDIA. Taking a look and remind yourself yesterday, if you would, of the specific, what was that, guys? The afternoon session that we went through. We looked at that double horn top on Tesla. Taking a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a touch more interesting, just a touch more interesting to the extent that the buyers can get out, up, and over the preceding here. Let's go ahead and frame it into a different time frame so we can, or schedule into a different time frame. In terms of, let's go to the 15-minute, that's fine. Looking at the preceding lateral, it looks like we have a definite level to beat here with an additional hurdle to the left. We're in a position right now, it looks like resistance is holding until resistance will not hold, is going to be the question. Okay, resistance is resistance until it's not resistance, until we get that breakout. And in this specific instance, let's mark it at 460.50. 460.50 gives the bulls a bit of a target to the upside. And let's pay attention on NVIDIA. As we were to look on NVIDIA at that 460, just call it 460.50. I'm going to draw a horizontal line at that level and just pay attention that we have a bit of a congestion area here to the left. All right, so looking at the framework, let's go to the 4 hourly. Let's see our levels that are in play and back off just a touch. We'll go back to Tesla, which looks like it is continuing to push up. That's a nice move. Similar dynamics, at least to retest that level of resistance that we had encountered, but similar dynamics in that we have a specific resistance to the left and an additional level of congestion. These hurdles pop up, don't they? We see them frequently. It's why we actually like, and let's dig into Bitcoin real quickly. It's why we like, and first of all, Bitcoin is our specialty. You know that. If you pay attention to us, you know Bitcoin is our specialty. Let's take a look at something in terms of Bitcoin. What do we like? We love straight moves to the downside. Boom. Do you remember this after 65,000? Bam. Nice move to the downside. Why do we like that? Essentially because it's just an open, free, and clear range for anything here to go up without that congestion. So when we saw that bottom, which we caught in the back, it was a nice level, 29,750, boom, which we caught that midsummer, was a nice move in the back, and shout out to all of our VIP. I see, who is that? Anthony up top. We see Scotland in the house. What's up? Just some pictures I see on VIP. Let me make sure that I'm in the chats enough. And I'll just say this, when we get into a very nice open, I'm going to call this one a very nice open. We were targeted, we were focused, and what did we get in the first few seconds? We got a trade. True? Yes, we got a trade. So looking at level of resistance now, engaging on Tesla. Let's take a look at the overall market. Let's take a look at, we want to look at the NASDAQ. We had discussed the NASDAQ yesterday. This is going to be really the best pattern play as we look at a few quick takes, this, that, and swing trades. Taking a look at the pattern in play here for the NASDAQ. Now, on BTCC, which is where we trade, guys, it's the Tech 100 USDT. So it's not necessarily we would just say the securitized version of the instrument, the index instrument here. It is a USDT equivalent. So that's how we get to trade this on BTCC, and we are looking forward to trading this specific pattern. This is going to be the biggest, guys, the biggest and best pattern that we have as a result of our, I'd say, result of our hours, days, and months of cumulative recent technical analysis and backtesting. This is just the best pattern we found. And again, I don't care that it belongs to the NASDAQ. I don't care that it would belong to soybean futures or corn futures, whatever it belongs to, or even I'm going to tell you if it were to belong to a peripheral altcoin, I'm going to pay attention to this pattern. It's in the books that I've been studying since I was maybe 15 years old, right? New York Institute of Finance, etc. So this is the type of pattern based on the backtesting that we've performed and that we've been in communication with, let's say, Tom Bulkowski. Shout out to Tom. Tom, I hope you're doing really well, and we appreciate all of the personal interaction along the way and all the books that you cleaned your closet or your shelf out with. I really appreciate all the personal notes inside of those books as well. Tom, pleasure to interact with you, and we have some more technicals coming into you. Now, in terms of this pattern, I just lay this out. This is a beautiful bull flag, and again, we're going to be looking at that Tech 100 USDT. It's nice to be able to maintain just a presence on the specific crypto exchange and to get the action of the NASDAQ bull flag seamlessly without having to traject into too much complications of a securities venture. We just, guys, we stay away from securities for the most part if we can trade them, and there's any kind of an overlap with crypto to the extent it's a USDT pair, we'll look at it absolutely if the opportunity is presented to us. So still needed the breakout bottom line on the NASDAQ. Now, you know, it's comprised of essentially that 100 index are 100 stocks, tech-related stocks. So we're going to see this push up if and when we can continue to see, right, that broad brush be painted by the composite index tech stocks. Those 100 tech stocks are going to need to lift this pattern, okay, up and out. Bam. So what do we need? We need a breakout. We covered this yesterday. We need a breakout. What do we need? Confirmation would be nice, preceding resistance flip to support, and then we need that momentum. Now, the third part of that is the exciting part. When we look at repeating the move to the upside, and there is a bit of a differentiation in terms of how high this could go if we get the breakout and the performance. There is a bit of a differentiation here in terms of just technically looking at this. Again, based on back testing, we could see a variety of moves to the upside. The important part is if and to the extent you can see a pattern like this, and again, just based on back testing, if you can see a pattern like this begin to work out to the upside and we start to get that momentum push, that's when essentially you're going to be directionally oriented, I'd say with the advantage of time on your side. Normally, time in the market doesn't seem to be on your side. You're going literally laterally. You're literally, we would say, consolidating. But when you can get price to move directionally, right? When we can get price to move directionally quickly, that's when time is on your side in the market. So we're looking forward to the potential here on this specific pattern of capturing some of that directionality and that time equation in our favor, up and over. We'll just say up and over that 15, guys, really the 15,200 is going to be that level of engagement. We just want to spend time on it because it's such a beautiful pattern. And again, if you guys have found any better pattern, let me know. I don't care what it's on. I would really like to explore it just technically so we can add it to our game plan in 2023 and 2024. We're excited that you're a part of such. Looking at the details here, back to NVIDIA. We did have a level of resistance hold, okay, across the top. A little bit reminiscent, we have to admit, of Tesla yesterday. Well, we agree with that. Tesla yesterday just powered into a nice horn top here. And it's just, you can see kind of the double prong lift into, and let's look at that hourly, just to reinforce this measure. The market's given us two of these, really. If we were to look at this on Tesla, you just see the horn top, just a technical expression, guys, but it's worth us definitely noting while we see it, that double horn top. Boom, boom, okay? So in the context of the action that we're seeing, that was yesterday on the hourly on Tesla, the feature is the following. While we're waiting to see if it's going to formulate here on NVIDIA, the The critical component of this, and let's focus in. While we had a good open on Tesla with it out of the just a shotgun style, first 5-10 seconds of price action was beautiful. The overarching issue, what we can take in from the technicals in play, is going to be preceding, right? The preceding level. This lateral level is often what? Is often a take, boom, or an entry, bam. Take long, boom, or what is it, guys? Is an entry short, bam. Okay, so let's focus on that, and not just as commentary when you're operating in the market and you see a potential top. That's going to be something for the guys, for the sellers to try and reinforce short, right, and the buyers an opportunity for them to potentially cash in on those profits. So let's remind ourselves that we just had this on the hourly, and this is the best part of the ball game. I just have to tell you guys, in terms of when we see that recreated from Tesla on the hourly to NVIDIA on the 15-minute, and we see that just trade opportunity continue to reinforce itself. And you guys know, we really seek out the momentum, or let's just say we seek out the volatility on open. Why is that? We seek out the volatility on open in New York so that we can be exposed to more patterns. Everyone agree? So that we can increase our exposure to the technicals. We've already read through the last 50 to 60 years of chart pattern synthesis by Bulkowski. Every book he has, literally. Okay, we've digested all of that. We've coded everything we can code. We are on the hunt for, guys, we are on the hunt for pattern integration in the market. That's what we're on the hunt for. So when we're looking at the open in New York, it is it's just essentially it's our delving into additional pattern framework that we can see, maybe that shared componentry of the double top, bam, that horn top on Tesla on the hourly, bring that over into the immediate. If you're trading, guys, whatever you're trading, just noting that dynamic and reinforcing it in your trade game. These are the expressions of the market as they are developing themselves. I just say as they're what we say, guys. We look for cross integration. We look for correlation, and to the extent that we see the technicals demonstrated across asset, cross market, they become increasingly interesting to us. And granted, we're most likely and I can just affirmatively say the most technical group, at least that I know of. And I know some technical groups, some technical guys. Shout out to the Morgan Stanley crew here local. Hope you guys are doing well. Technically oriented crew. As we were to look at Bitcoin on the 4 hourly, what are we looking at? We had a cross under the 20 moving average. And again, this is straight out of New York Institute of Finance. Looking underneath this specific 20 moving average, what did we get finally? Boom, we got to drop down to what level? To that lower band. So after a few 50% completions, 50 to 75% completions, let me clean this chart up just real quickly. Let's clean this chart up just real quickly. As we were to look at that classic New York Institute of Finance, okay, we're just going to call it the trade tactic. It's exactly how they have modeled this and framed it. Bam, cross under, boom, to the downside. Cross over, no candle set, 20 moving average, not to the upside. Crossover, clean candle to the upside, and bam, interaction with that top band. All right. Then we see, and that's the Bollinger Band, guys, second standard deviation. In terms of a reconfirmation onto the 20 moving average, boom, another hit on the top band. Candle set underneath, and we got a bit inconsistent at this level. We had a consistency at this level to the bottom band, inconsistency again at this level. So if you're looking at the 1 for 2, let's call this let's say a 1 for 1. Let's omit this due to the fact that we didn't have an actual candle body set. So let's give it that credit. Let's say we're 1 for 1. Let's say we're 2 for 2. We won't count the re-hit, though we like the action. We'll look for another candle set. Let's say we're 2 for 3 because we went to the upside without hitting that bottom side. So 1 for 1, completion to the downside, 2 for 2. Okay, in terms of the action of the candle bodies up and over, the reconfirmation, we won't count that. We'll balance it out with the candle wick up and over. We like the candle set up and over to give a clear signal to the market. We'll call this, with the candle set underneath, let's call it a 2 for 3. 1, check. Tactical copy, boom. 2, check. So 1 for 1, 2 for 2. Let's call this 2 for 3 with a failure here. Do we want to call this actually a hit to the downside? And I'll say that this is a tough one. If we want to call this 3 for 4, it's tough because we don't have the clean candle set. We're in the process of pushing down into it. So this is going to be on the fence, all right, in terms of whether or not we're going to stay consistent with the data set from a specific candle or wick. We do have an open that's just on the line. So this one's going to be a little bit difficult. If we have a 1, 2, if we call this a 3, it was a hit into this level. So we have either a 2 for 4 or a 3 for 4 in this zone, excluding this specific wick to the upside and excluding this re-hit. Note this would be excluded as well because we don't have the candle set. So this one, put this on the fence, okay? We do have certainly wick issues throughout here, and looking again for a candle set down and below, boom. So what I'm gonna say is that we've established, what would you say, wicks excluded. We're looking at I'd say a completion rate. Do you guys want to give it a 50%? 50% completion rate. Now, I will tell you, if you're looking at a 50% completion rate, cross under, bam, cross over, boom, cross under, nope, didn't get it, cross over, really within threshold, didn't get it, cross under, no. You're just gonna see cross over, yes, cross under, no. Cross over, difficult, and yes, cross under, yes. About a 50%. You guys call it out. We'll get through the specific rules as we get into, and I can just tell you, as we get into our calculations, I get in, and it may sound like we're just going through a lot of different possibilities in terms of our calculations, but we actually, on every time frame, if you were to look here on Bitcoin, we'll go through the minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, guys, all the way through the monthly, and we'll actually designate a lot of different parameters on our custom indicator here that we've built in the background to backtest this. And I just want to let you know, for instance, the higher percentage is 75%, 63%, 73%, 70%. That's based on a 40% completion, just to let you know. So we can calculate based on a crossover the fact that you're in your 70s if you're just looking for a 30 to 40% of a completion. So just mind that the more that you are digging into a full needed completion to the downside band, you're going to be beaten, really going to be beaten by about a 40% or a 50% completion to the other side. The way that you could approach this as well, let's just discuss this very quickly this morning as we get into just a bit of the calculatives, is if you're looking for a 50%, you could denote such with what? You could, if you chose to, denote such. Let's go with a green line. Let's go with a real green line here. In terms of a standard deviation of 1, it's a calculated measurement. But if we're looking for a 50% completion, it could be about that standard deviation 1. So things start to look a lot more consistent if we say, okay, well, we're crossing under, over, right? Under, over, we're really getting into some higher, you see the levels of probability just ticking up big time. That's with a standard deviation of 1. The problem is you're in a tighter range. So your payoffs can be greater if you saw just the cross under completion to the downside. It was a nice hit. And I'll just remind you that the more that you're going for in the market, guys, typically the stronger the move, the bigger the payday you're looking for. Just be prepared, be prepared. Now, what did we have on Bitcoin that showed us that we may be moving to the downside, okay, to the completion of the target on that 4 hourly? Again, when you can work cross time frame and you can say, okay, if we hit the bottom side band this time, what was the accompanying feature on the lower time frame? Well, on the hourly, we had this nice double bottom, didn't we? The majority of double bottoms are going to express themselves down and below. It's the sellers that are getting price, boom, to the preceding, bam, level of lateral, guys, a repeat of the lateral pivot. Again, here, it's the sellers that are getting down, boom, to this level, and bam, reinforcing that flat bottom support. So this on the hourly was an indication that we could be heading down out of this. You guys have these specific targets to the downside. So nice to see this break to the downside. And the question is going to be, with this specific hourly line set below, Guys, and the majority of these you'll see, and you can review I really like the Bloomberg. It's the Bloomberg Bulkowski, and it's a rare find. Again, Tom, thank you for sending that book to me. I appreciate it. But the Bloomberg Bulkowski publication is a nice one. You pick up on some different language there, I think, because it was edited in part by the Bloomberg Authority or whatnot. It's a nice publication technically. I encourage you guys, if you don't have a copy of it, get one to thumb through at your leisure. I would highly recommend that in addition to the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns, okay? It's a Bloomberg publication, joint publication with Tom Bulkowski. I think you might pick up one or two things. You'll enjoy reading technically about it, about the work that's performed in that book. So looking at the lateral pickup, yes, the majority of times we're going to ultimately break this to the downside. So the entry here, the question is, well, how much? That's going to be the question, right? It's not always a question of if you can make money in the market. It's a question of how much. You all know that. So a little bit of a rewind on the Bollinger Bands in terms of the statistics. Just understand the more that you're generally pushing for, if you're pushing for that 100% completion, you're less likely to hit it. All right, if you're pushing for that 50% completion, things look pretty good, don't they? 4 hourly, 75% at that 50%, 40% really completion. I have this marked out even more conservatively, but that's when you start seeing those hit rates really go up. And this is an over-under right now on the NASDAQ, okay? If we were to look at over-under on NVIDIA, it'll take a moment on that 4 hourly to calculate for us, but we'll get those table features. And this is part of just advanced back testing that we are really looking forward to being a part of that increasingly complicated future and hopefully simplified, honestly, thereafter, for us to operate in the technical dynamics and purview of the market. It's really what we're looking at increasingly involving ourselves in, are the ability to on the fly designate, whether it be on NVIDIA, which this is now, or the NASDAQ, particularly what our hit rate percentages are, to be able to dynamically adjust those. You guys know our Fusion indicator. Fusion, you guys got it right, is a dynamic back testing tool. We are going to be trying in 2024 to speed it up, okay? It's difficult a bit, as you guys see all of the work that we've done on TradingView. It's a limited environment. So our goal in 2024 is to speed some of these things up. And it's really not the computing on our end, it is the computing on the processing end of, let's say, for instance, TradingView. So with that said, it looks like the 15-minute near completion to the downside as you're looking at NVIDIA. Let's take a look at where we might be headed on. Let's focus in on Tesla after a breakout up and over, and just some. Let's remind about this specific topping formation here. The question is on everyone's mind the following. It is on this chart. If we're hammering, stemming around in terms of the swing trades on NVIDIA and Tesla, it's not that it's not worth time. It is just that this is the pattern in play. And guys, if this is not on people's desks all over the world who are major traders, I don't know what they're looking at. I think you'll have to agree. I have no idea what they would be looking at other than this specific pattern. So we'll continue to spend time on NVIDIA and Tesla, but this one is a showstopper, big time showstopper. You will want to say, particularly if this can break out and crank to the upside, you will want to say, boy, do you remember that? I'm just going to say, guys, and it's going to be one of two. It's going to be, and there could be other possibilities, but boy, do you remember that. Would be nice. Do we concur? Yes. We could have a lot of different memories, though, couldn't we? We really could have a lot of different memories, right? We could have some different, if we were to look at what could occur, be prepared. A whole lot of different things could occur as we're looking at and projecting from, and even with this flat top that we just saw on NVIDIA and Tesla, I typically will tell people to back off if they want something to go their direction, if they're looking at going up on anything when they're buying something, right? You're going to be convinced typically that it's going to go up or you wouldn't buy it. We agree? I typically will try and encourage people to look at just on a personal basis. And I've never had this backfire on me personally with anyone that has ever approached me and said, honestly, guys, I've never had this backfire on me. People will come up to me, they just got sold something on an article or on a news story or on a public TV or something else, And I tell them, you know, it's a good idea to maybe put 1/10 of what you want to put into what you've just been sold is going to the moon, it's going up, and it's the best investment ever. And the good thing is, if it's really that great of an investment, it's going to make 10 times the amount that you invest, right? So you don't have to put more money in. You could just put 1/10, and it's going to make the other 9/10 of your investment. Man, that sounds like a really great investment. When I tell them that, they always look disappointed, right? Because they were planning on making more. But I honestly, honest engine, with all the people I have interacted with, when they've come to me and they're excited about something, that is, guys, that stood the test of time in terms of that. And I'm not a marginal, I'm going to say this, I'm not a marginal dollar cost averager on every opportunity in the market. To the contrary, we hit trades quite well, quite well. All right, let's get to the point where we have a breakout. Let's get to the point where we have, you know, where we have a breakout. Let's get to the point where we even maybe have a confirmation. And let's get to the point, boom, where we're operating with some momentum on this beautiful, beautiful pattern. Let's do it. I'm excited about this week, and I'm just excited about the opportunities the market is providing us, from Tesla to NVIDIA, etc. I'm going to tell you to please tread lightly until you get your consistency down. Some of you are already multi-screen up on your trading desk and are just shooting the lights out every day. You just are. If you're doing that, congratulations. I know the ones of you who are, and it's really exciting to be a part of that journey for you. I know that Bitcoin is your mainstay, but you do appreciate, I know that you definitely appreciate what all is going on with the equities and some of the unique trading opportunities. I'm not sure. We may need to blame it on Elon. I don't know what you guys think. We might need to blame it on Elon. Whatever he did to crypto, he kind of brought some of us over into Tesla, and that kind of crypto arguably maybe kind of brought us over into NVIDIA just a touch, because that was, I think, that was one of the mainstays of common everyday Joe. That was what were we doing, guys? Mining. You know, people would just wanted to mine on their CPU. So we come by it honestly, if we come by it at all. And that Mag 7 in terms of AI this year is an exciting thing. It's been a nice open. The most important part of the open was the first few seconds. To me, this is the Bitcoin chart on the 77-minute time frame we like to look at, and a broadening formation. Is it a broadening bottom? Not particularly. All right, what would we ideally like to see? Right now, we'd like to see an expansion of volatility, but not necessarily framed as such. These can be difficult patterns. You know that these can be difficult patterns if associated with a top. It really takes some muscle to monster out, up, and through this specific pattern to the upside. If you trade a lot, you know that. So you're going to need your momentum, right, which is currently on the 77-minute is positive. You're going to need your momentum squared away. Right now, your momentum is not squared away on the 4-hourly, on the 8-hourly, on Bitcoin, and on the daily. Your momentum is not squared away. So this specific push on the daily particularly is of concern. Let's take a look at the momentum. MACD momentum, you can get there by MACD settings of 15 and 199 on your MACD. Okay, this specific squeeze, aka MACD momentum, you can just go to MACD and input settings of 15 and 199. It will give you that classic squeeze or that momentum that you're looking from the classic MACD formulation, 15 and 199. That's the hack to get through and balance out your Keltner and Bollinger Band equation here on squeeze or momentum to match them up, okay? So looking at this drop off, all to say simply, this specific drop off here is of primary concern to the bulls in terms of the 8-hourly. Now the 8-hourly can push and be a bit unkind generally in terms of the momentum, seeing it level off multiple times and even head fake along this way up on the 8-hourly. And I just say the momentum on the 4-hourly can literally be dangerous, okay? If you are looking at the momentum on the 4-hourly, it can literally be dangerous. You know this. It can lag, it can diverge, and we just pay attention particularly to it with a caution, with a note of caution, without a doubt. Taking a look at this descending wedge, if we can get underneath, we'd be looking at a target to the left. This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. Nice open. Let's see if that hourly can come into contact with the 20 moving average on NVIDIA. As we check out NVIDIA, ultimately we're looking for these lower levels of potential engagement on the capital control line. On the 4 hourly, we'd like to see if we can get there. At what point can we get down close to, through, or around anything on the daily with a lower pro line, or daily with the cap line? I tell you, those are going to be some areas that we're immediately interested in. A look at this 15-minute recoup up and over the specific 20 moving average. The drop paid into, I'm going to say within conformance of threshold, we'd say that 50% max probability, higher probability, cross under, bam, recoup, and what played? Our 4 hourly lower pro line. Played like a champ. Nice to see it, guys. This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. Let's get in the back and let's trade today. Hope you're all doing well, and you've just been awesome. In terms of the trades yesterday, I want to thank you for showing me your trades yesterday. Thank you. I get up early, I work on technicals all day, and it's nice to see you all developing as traders. I remember when a lot of you started and said, yeah, I want to do the 100 rounds. And it's a nice group. It's the level and size that we want in terms of the quality of you guys being traders, and in terms of just the number, it's small. It doesn't need to be huge. I'd rather spend time with a good small set of quality traders, guys, every day of the week than just the masses. That's not what we're geared towards or what we're seeking. We want that quality over quantity. So thank you for being a part of that. This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. Let's dig into the back. Let's get involved with that NASDAQ bull flag. Let's not forget it. Let's not forget it. If it winds around, it slows down. It seems like it's taking a long time. Well, let's let it take a while. Let's stay focused on it. I want you guys to notch that, to have that notch in your belt. Essentially, as you're looking at participating in just the best pattern that we can find anywhere. If you find a better pattern, you let me know. And that's Tesla on the screen there. If you can find a better pattern, please let me know. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I don't care if it's on. I don't care if it's coffee, if it's soybean futures. I don't care if it's on guys from platinum to gold. I don't care what it is. If you find a better pattern for us to talk about and backtest into, bring it. Bring the heat. Let's talk about it. Deal? Hey, and I'll see if we can reach out, and if it's that great of a pattern, I'll see if there's a way that we can somehow trade it. I'll work my connections as best I can to see if there's any way within the framework that we are just fully, and it's fully regulated, guys. It's fully sanctioned, etc. But I will try, if we find a pattern somewhere that we'd really like to trade, I'll try and see if they can accommodate our ability to trade such. So that is the commitment I will make to you, trying to make sure that this year we enjoy our trading, guys, enjoy the market and enjoy our profits from the market. Remember to eat well, sleep well, and take care of those relationships that were important before you started trading in the market. And now that you're trading in the market, take care of these relationships. This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. Guys, let's go. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.